Hey everybody, how's it going? Today, let's take a look at this 2020 BMW 320d Touring xDrive M Sport. And this is going to be a full, in-depth tour of the 3 Series Touring. We'll start it up, show the engine, as well as show you the features on the interior, as well as exterior. And before I begin, I'd like to give a massive shout out to the Junction Autopark, located in Llandudno Junction, North Wales, for allowing me to come out and film this car. For more information regarding current inventory and contact info, please check out the link in the description below. And so, without further ado, let's get it started up and let it run. Let's see, black exterior with black leather interior. Has just over 16,000 miles on the clock. Fires right up. Leather wrapped steering wheel with side grip extensions, silver accenting, and a leather stitched airbag cover. Has an 8-speed automatic transmission with sport mode and manual shift. And when you select reverse, brings up your backup camera with guidance lines. And we'll go ahead and turn on the automatic headlamps, front and rear fog lamps, and the hazards. All 4 windows are automatic, and we'll go and check out the exterior, shall we? "19-inch wheels, finished in black. LED headlamps. You also have front and rear parking sensors. Has a 2-litre turbo diesel 4-cylinder engine, puts out 187 brake horsepower, does 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds, and has a top speed of 140 miles an hour. Power locks, power windows, power mirrors, boot release, manual seats with side airbags, and we'll go ahead and here she sounds. Does sound pretty good. Not bad at all. Dual zone automatic climate control. Fan speed. Individual temperatures. And zones for both sides. Max front defrost, rear defrost, one-touch automatic, max AC, recycling, AC menu, sync, AC on and off, and your heated seats. Different preset stations.
Mobile have got you covered. Get network coverage across 99% of
decent sounding audio system.
Stay connected. This is super.
Jonathan, hello.
Hi.
In 2015, interestingly, you won both menswear and womenswear Designer of the Year at the British Fashion Awards. And now I know your work's always
Sound settings.
shake up ideas, but do you think, looking back at them and and where we are now, that this was probably a turning point for the rest of the fashion world to sit up and take notice.
Yeah, and I think it was an interesting period, I think, in fashion. It doesn't feel that long ago, but it was the first time, I think, that people could see what I was trying to do as an industry, that it was not something which was on the periphery, it was something that was
car settings,
affecting younger people and what they wanted to wear ultimately.
Various trip information.
Menswear, I was looking at friends around me, and just people that I knew and I looked up to. I was looking at this idea that it wasn't really about gender that I kind of had gone on the hunt after, but it was about this idea of garments that fell into this idea of the shared wardrobe. I was looking at people like Robert Mapplethorpe and Patti Smith, and how them both wearing a white shirt meant two different things, or the way in which a kilt can be worn in two different ways.
It's pretty much your standard BMW Infotainment System,
and the clothing was also
so it's pretty simple to use.
So tell me about your latest collection. What's your concept? I know it's fun and playful. I've looked at your little cartoon elephant motifs, but it's also traditional mixes of masculine polo neck, elongated into
ambient lighting.
Where did you take your inspiration from?
I actually randomly, during the pandemic, watched a documentary on Ronaldo.
So did I.
Which and I find it quite interesting, because I would never usually watch that. I had this like weird fantasy of when I was looking at this incredibly famous person who was incredibly ambitious. In a weird way, I imagined him dancing somehow. I thought football looked like dancing, and I thought, well, how do you take Ronaldo dancing on a football pitch with like Strictly Come Dancing somehow? You campify it, you bolster the kind of the glamour of it.
And so see, looking at football and the balletic way that they can move and going that far. And before you founded J.W. Anderson, you had a career in theatre, and you went into acting. I was much the same. When I went into retail, I just used, once that theatrical background, it seeps into you, doesn't it? And people think theatrical dressing's about over the top, but it's not really, is it? How did it come into your work? It seems much more subtle than that.
Well, when I went to drama school, I did Stanislavski, which is this idea of believing that you are the character.
Traffic info.
Sometimes when I'm building a collection, I sometimes kind of get into the mindset I have to believe in that person. That is where the theatrics come in, I think, where you get this idea that you're kind of creating someone who doesn't exist.
USB input.
Filling it out.
And power outlet.
Believe that they are this kind of person in that moment. And I love that. It is kind of primitively the idea of dressing up, ultimately.
I really like that. I don't think I've ever heard a design.
Down here you have your DTC, or dynamic traction control, parking sensors, and different driving modes,
relationship between
comfort,
fashion. And I understand you can
sport,
be inspired by something, whether it's a picture or a poem.
fully customizable.
For example, you're the collection heavily inspired by Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being.
And Eco Pro.
Talk to me. How did that manifest itself? Does it work always, or sometimes doesn't it?
Well, I think it's about obsessions. I find something that I'm obsessed by in a moment. I have a fantasy in my head of making it work. So like Oscar Wilde, I became obsessed about this line that he had written. It was about like the
auto-dimming rearview mirror,
how art is part of life.
SOS, emergency roadside assistance.
You know, and how could you really take language as a tool for clothing? But I've had moments where it hasn't worked out, where you maybe I've looked at like 18th century pictures or Tudor paintings, and I've tried to translate it into clothing, and it becomes more like costume than fashion. So it can be this kind of double-edged sword where you think in your head it could work.
Audio controls, hands-free phone controls, cruise control, and your heated steering wheel.
Particularly in fashion, that we're starting to really see this shift post-pandemic. You're one of the designers who used the pandemic as a really reset for change to do things differently. Talk to me about what you did.
I think my first thing was, how do I keep the job? So I started to look at this idea of what Marcel Duchamp did with the kind of...
Pretty amazing vehicle.
And I built these boxes that I sent out to the press, which really had...
Let's go ahead and shut her down.
...shown in a box. The press would receive a box with all the fabric swatches, photographs of things, or dolls of things, or the fabric of what the carpet would have been at the show.
Let's go and check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we? Before I end this video, I thought I might demonstrate the keyless entry. It's unlocked at the moment. To lock, all you have to do is tap the marked patches on the back of the door handles. Then after waiting a second, to unlock, just touch the back of the handle. Well viewers, thanks so much for watching this in-depth tour of this 2020 BMW 3 Series Touring, and a big thanks to Junction Autopark for allowing me to come and film it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and peace out.